Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory. I'm cutting it off right there, yo. Somebody told me I had to sing that just so I can get on the daggone show, man. Positive Philter. I'm trying to be on the show. It's your boy Ryan Griffin. Holla at me. Please. Is a podcast. Man, put me on the show, man. I'm out.
Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. All right, Positive Philter listeners, it's your boy, Philip Wilkerson, back with another episode of Positive Philter. We got a special NFL edition of the podcast. I'm in Malgriff Studios at my friend's house, fellow Duke Dog. Yeah, that's already started.
I'm clipping already. It's all good. It's all good.
So I'm in at my friend's studio. Introduce yourself, Ryan.
What up, folks? What up, folks? Malgriff Entertainment, PhrozenThumbz. I'll get to that in a second why I said all that, because that's how I just always start all my other stuff. But my name is Ryan Griffin. I am a resident of Colonial Heights, but I come from Ettrick, Virginia. Ettrick, holla at all my boys in Ettrick. It's the village of Ettrick. It's literally a village. So people going to laugh at that, but let me stop rambling because this ain't my show.
No, rambling is good because I really didn't know where we're going. But, so... Positive Philter, my podcast, I have all my friends, I bring my friends, my family, and I had to do a sports edition of the podcast, and there was no one better. I always see my man Ryan talking about sports. He likes this, I like to call him Mr. Consistent, Mr. Be Consistent, and so when I thought about doing an episode, I said, Ryan and I are good friends, and I was like, man, I have to get you on the podcast specifically to talk sports. I'm, as you will know if you know me, I am unfortunately avid Redskin fan. So sports for me has a different meaning.
HTTR in the building, hashtag HTTR.
So we wanted to do a little episode talking about why we're fans of our respective teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell them, Ryan, who you
I am a huge supporter of the San Francisco 49ers. That's who I rep all day, Am I saying, like, why am I a fan of the team?
I was just setting up. We're just going to set up because, particularly both of us, we have historic winning franchises. Right. Past.
Some people might challenge you on that, but,
winning franchises. We got some Super Bowls. But in recent times, I would say recent as in, past 20 years or so, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Not so many championships. So we definitely have a lot to commiserate, a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
But for the listeners, you live in Colonial Heights.
Yeah.
You're born and raised in Virginia.
Yes.
How did you become a 49ers fan?
All right. So when I explain this, it's going to be like the biggest shout out to my dad, but then it's going to be like the biggest slap in the face too. So if he ever listens to this, then I'm sorry I got to put you on blast. But people always ask me like, man, how you a 49er fan? Where it's like, well, one thing is we live in Virginia. So a lot of people will be like, well, why you don't like Baltimore? Why you don't like Washington Redskins? But it's like, I ain't from D.C. So it's like... So it's like at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you pick a team that's because you ain't got no sports team or whatever. There's no sports team in Virginia. There's no Virginia something. So I grew up. I was kind of like born into it is because my dad, when I was growing up, my dad always watched the 49ers game. He had the 49ers gear. Yep. He was doing all that. But I say that because it's like, yeah, it's that nostalgic, oh, my dad was a fan, so I'm going to become a fan. But when I got older, I started to like realize like, yo, my dad don't even watch football like that.
Yo, I was about to say.
And so then I'm like, let me
He's
see, the 5 championships.
5 championships.
Okay,
Right.
80s, 80. Oh, I was born in 85. I was like, oh my gosh, because I'm a Lakers fan too. I know we talk about NFL, but I'm a Lakers fan too because he was a Lakers fan. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, my dad was a bandwagon fan. I was born in 85. What was popping in the 80s? The 49ers was popping in the 80s.
The Skins were too, though. The Skins were in the 80s.
The 49ers were popping in the
No,
80s,
the
and
49ers
definitely the Lakers were popping in the 80s. So that's why I say it's like it's an ode to my dad, but it's like a slap in the face because it's like, it was probably like a couple of years ago when I was kind of like, hey, Dad, I'm just like, yeah, how you feel about, not a couple of years ago, I'd probably say like 10 years ago. I'm like, yeah, man, what you think about this? Or what you think about that? What you think about this organization? He like, I don't know. I'm like...
Is he still a fan? At least is he
and it's
still
like
a
that.
fan?
It's like that typical like what you call it? That be happening on memes. It's like that. Boom. Like I kind of looked at him like, dung. Like, are you serious? What do you mean you don't know?
Does he still? But here's the thing, and I will give you back. At least I would say for your nostalgic, or you got a championship which was memorable that you can remember. Like you got Steve Young, so you had that '90s little. Early 90s Steve Young winning championships and whatnot. So you got that. So I don't have, when I say, I'm going to allude, because I want to talk a little bit about my background to the Redskins. I was born into it as well. You know, my dad, he was born and raised in Virginia.
Right.
He didn't really have a team. He told me when he was growing up, he was a Baltimore Colts fan. I was like, what? So my dad had no loyalty to anything.
Right.
But then when my dad married my mom's great uncle, Uncle Warren, shout out to him, had season tickets. He's an OG of the Redskins. He had season tickets back when they were playing in RFK, and I guess season tickets was like $200, you know, the whole season.
Right.
So he brought my dad along, and he was like a special father figure to my dad. So my dad just ride or die, forget the Baltimore Colts. I'm a Redskins fan. And being a military brat, we had the option. We moved around. And, you know, I was like, Dad, you know, why, we could have been something else. Why did we pick the Redskins? You stuck me. You brought me into this misery.
Why?
But similar to you is that my dad, he got to rock with it. When he was in his heyday and Uncle Warren brought him into the Redskins, he was seeing the Doug Williams Super Bowls. He was there.
That's dope.
He's in that era. So
my dad was watching TV.
Yeah, so my dad was watching the games and all that stuff. So I, similar to you, had the same. I think majority, if you talk to a lot of fans, you know, young males, it is brought back to what my parents and my dad and stuff like that. So, yeah, we both can curse our parents' respective dads for bringing us into the
absolutely.
into the fold of this fandom.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, but I mean, it's like I kind of heard you about to allude to like who does he kind of root for now? I mean, he still roots for the 49ers and the Lakers, but it's kind of like, yeah, man, how the 49ers doing? Yeah, we like 10-6. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, word,
you
cool.
know, you keep it up.
Like,
That's what you're saying.
I'm like, all right, okay, well, all right, it's cool, you know, but it is what it is. But, you know, I ain't switch up, you know, so that's what it is. So that's how I became a fan of the 49ers, really. I became a fan of, it pains me to say it, but my dad was a bad wagon. I feel like he was, because he don't keep up with it like I do. But I mean, he might not be bandwagon. I'm just kind of like putting him in that box,
Well, yeah.
because he don't keep up with like what's gonna happen in the off season and stuff like that. But I mean, he a grown man.
I don't know if I can fully call him a bandwagon because he didn't jump on another team. You know,
He didn't.
So
he did.
He's like
he never did.
He's like non-informed fan, or
right.
didn't keep up with fan.
Right.
As opposed to, you know, I would say my dad, who's still actively buying season tickets and throwing money away to the organization, which, you know, that's another story. So we're both respective of historic teams. I would say, you know, our teams have history, and I think that is also, for me, gives me this blind optimism, you know, that maybe someday they will return to their former form of glory. But you know, that's another. But we're gonna just do a little recap. You know, the NFL season is coming up, and You know, we're both very excited. I'm very excited for football to come back because, honestly, it's one of my favorite sports to watch. You know, I think it's one of the most entertaining sports. Funny story, kind of a loose story. You know, for me, I think football is super entertaining. I think, you know, I love the hits. I love that. But to other countries, I went to England. I went to the game in London. And they were amazed at how much.
That was dope, though, by the way. Excuse me for cutting off.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Right.
Like, nobody could ever check your fandom for that. Ever check your fandom. It's like, yo, I went to London and saw my team.
I don't know.
ever come at me about my loyalty.
I could say that was. I mean, yeah, you give me the credit, but I was about to say I was just doing it to see my peoples in London. You know? I could have gone to the Jaguars and got the contract with them every year just to go to London. You know, the Jaguars are the only team that has a contract with them every year. Which, like, why of all teams the Jaguars? But
they can get them for the low.
But to English people, they think our football is slow. Stops and timeouts and moving the chains, and I just find that interesting, you know, because to me, and I think the general public of America, I think it's probably what football is probably the number one popular sport.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say, as far as what you said that it's slow, what they said that it's slow, but they probably should have. Well, they had the Europe joint over there, right? They had NFL Europe at one point.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so I was about to say maybe they should have put some games over there that wasn't televised, because you know when the televised, it slows everything down like even times more. But they had NFL Europe, so they had some games over there, and then there's no way that the NFL was going to go over to Europe for like 2-3 years and not televise the game. So
yeah, but I mean, you know, I think for them too is you're right. It was like their first live football game, and I think when you watch it on TV, it's a little different. Like any sport's different than when you're there. Just seeing all the empty time and commercial time. So I find that interesting. But football's back. Our number one American sport's back to me. We both have big expectations. Not really. We have expectations for our team. But just kind of a recap, how was last season for you as a 49ers fan? Specifically, yeah.
No. Seriously, like, I know some people can be like, oh, it's a side, like, oh, man. But I'm gonna be real honest with you. Because I'm such a fan when it comes to, like, my teams that I'm not going to even lie. Like, yes, I want my team to win every year. Yes, I want my team to be in it every year. But when your team is, and sometimes if they do or if they don't get over the hump, that joint becomes stressful, especially like when you live on social media like me and you join back with folks and all this stuff. Like, it can get stressful. So I kind of knew we were going to suck because the whole turmoil thing that happened with Jim Harbaugh.
Okay.
This is all Jed York and Trent Baalke's fault. Trent Baalke is the old GM.
Yeah.
I really feel like Trent Baalke just tore down the team. You know, they had a pissing contest, excuse my language.
Yeah.
2 alpha males, and Trent Baalke really didn't build that team. The general manager before him built that team, along with Mike Singletary.
Yes.
Mike Singletary leaves. Harbaugh comes in, takes it to does a Steve Kerr, and takes it to the next level.
Right.
And then Trent Baalke comes in that joint and strips it away. And Jed York is like, well, Trent Baalke's my man, so I'm going to just ride with him. Yeah. And that's what we is, because we really still should be good. I mean, what Pete Carroll is to the Seahawks is what Jim Harbaugh...
Jim Harbaugh,
should be with the 49ers at this very moment. But like I said, just to answer your question before we, dive into that, I just kind of knew we were going to be bad, so I wasn't really shocked about anything, but I'm not going to lie, it was kind of like a relief for a whole year to just be a fan. You know what I'm saying? To me, to just be a NFL fan, I'm just like, I know my team's going to be bad.
Oh, so you watch other teams.
I can watch other teams. I ain't got to be like, man, I hope this team loses in the division. I can just watch football. So, but that's just me. I'm weird like that. But
that's not weird because that's my experience every season. I get to watch football every season. If you go in there with the expectation like that, man, that we're not going to be surprised. And I did not. So take that back. When I say past glory, I don't know why I totally blacked out that you went to the Super Bowl. So you have hit the next level. I didn't remember that, but you did at the next level. So you have at least seen the promised land in recent times. Why did I black out and forget that? But
yeah, and that's what's making it kind of tough because I'm like even though I'm a hardcore fan, like I like to be real with folks. So I'm one of them type people who's like, yo, I'm a Laker fan, but I ain't grow up watching Magic. I can watch highlights and stuff, but I can't be sitting here and be like when we get into debates about those type of sports or those type of players, or like if there was a debate that came up with like Montana and quarterbacks back in their day, and they'd be like, Ryan, what you think? I'd be like, yo, I ain't really watch him like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know about him, but I'm not gonna sit here and cape for Joe Montana. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I was born, but I didn't grasp the game like that.
So your fandom has a logic limit.
Yeah, it's my fandom. My fandom definitely has a logic limit. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna talk about being consistent,
be consistent.
Be consistent. Hashtag be consistent. Hashtag be consistent. If we're gonna talk about that, then it's like, yes, my fandom does have a logical limit. Like even with Steve Young and them, it was kind of like I kind of knew what was going on, but I didn't process everything like I do now as an adult with off-season moves and this
we did
watching these type of players and what they do and offenses and what goes on in the locker room, blah 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 blah. So it was like you said, I like that. I have a logical limit when it comes to my fandom, but I am happy to say I know. But see, y'all kind of in it like every year.
No,
yeah, I mean not, but y'all not horrible.
Yeah. Why am I like? Why? It's like I feel like there's a counseling session where you're trying to like bring me out.
But y'all not that horrible. But it's like I am glad to say that I at least got some years where we were like in the thick of it, like every year, because you never know when that window is gonna come around again.
Yes.
It's just that I just feel like our window closed way too fast.
Yeah, especially since you go from Super Bowl. You went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? That's what that was the year with the Beyonce halftime show and the blackout.
Yeah. No, that was
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Fact check.
Fact check. But no, it had to be 3 seasons.
I erased that from my memory banks, folks. I erased it.
That's 3 seasons ago, and then
I know what happened though.
So hold up, that was that season. The Colin Kaepernick stuff was not this last season, the season before.
It was last year we were bad. Last year before that we finished like 8-8.
Yeah.
The year before that, 3 years ago, we lost in the championship game to the Seahawks. The year before that
was the Baltimore
Ravens.
It was a while ago.
And then the year before that, I think we lost in the championship game. I can't remember. Yeah, so we was in the NFC championship.
So let me take
game,
that back when I said our former. You have gotten some recent success.
Yeah.
But talking about last year, I don't even know what we went last year. Obviously, we missed playoffs. So last year was garbage. I know from last year, we had a kind of a collapse. I didn't really go to any games. Actually, I went to the one game in London. I think we lost a couple close games we should have won. Case in point, I think the Panthers, we shouldn't have won. I remember that game. We shouldn't have tied against the Bengals in London. Flew all the way there.
See, these joints, I can see it in your face. These joints hurt.
Yeah, it hurts.
And also, what I'm saying?
I'm starting a little bit.
So you talking? So what I'm saying is, you are telling me, oh, I got to watch the games. No, you didn't. See that talk? Man, we should have won this. See, last year that talk was free from my mind.
You didn't have that.
I didn't have to have these like, man, we should have won this one, man. We should have won that one. So, certainly, no, I feel your pain, man.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and also I had big expectations for Josh Norman. I think he still did I would say if I gave him a grade for him coming in, and adding his energy. I know his energy brought a lot rather than there's a lot of intangibles that he brought. His energy, his attitude. He didn't have that many interceptions. The only thing he had one or two. Fact check.
Fact check.
But he didn't have that many interceptions for what he did.
I thought he played well.
That's what I'm saying. He played well.
I thought he played outstanding.
I'd give him a B. B plus, maybe. He wasn't an A elite corner last year.
But how much would you put that on the coaches, though? Because remember, they kind of had him out there like, what are y'all doing with him? Like, match him up on?
Yeah, they did. Sometimes they didn't even have him matched up against the best receiver.
Right.
Because, like, specifically, a good example that you're right was that A.J. Green still went off, in London,
Right.
I'm having vivid memories of just the games I saw. But that's because they weren't moving Josh Norman over to AJ Green's side. They just had Josh Norman on one side, so he wasn't playing man on the best.
And who's on the side? Breland, right?
Burnt toast, toast. You burnt.
Nah,
bread.
man, they hung my man out to dry,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
I remember that it was like, what was it like after like it was like the New York game. They was like questioning him, and he was like,
He was getting burnt.
he was mad, man. He was like, man, I'm in the NFL or something like that. Like he was basically like mad
Saying,
about
like,
the
leave me
joint.
alone, all you internet judges. I think that's along his lines where he's like, yo, you can criticize as much as you want. But point is, I think Josh Norman came in, did what he was supposed to do. I think he earned his money last year. Kirk Cousins had an amazing season. Was it about 4,000 yards? So fact check. I even have pieces of paper right here, but I ain't.
Yeah,
fact
we
check.
do, but we're not fact checking.
We're not fact checking. Whatever. This is we're not the sports junkies. But like I said, Kirk Cousins had I would say Kirk Cousins had statistically good games, but there was points where it's not a matter of just yards where you didn't see the eliteness, the pressure, pressure situation quarterbacks.
Right.
All the receivers were amazing weapons. I mean, Jordan Reed, Pierre Gasson, everyone. But then they all kind of like bounced except for Jordan Reed. But I was saying last year showed we were on the cusp. You're right. Last year was a year when we say, is there years where you feel like the Redskins optimistically are in the hunt? And yes, we were in the hunt last year, but we did not do what we needed to do to be successful. And that was last year, and I think that kind of has me jaded going into this year. But all in all, I think last year showed glimpses of a team that could win, a team that could have gone to playoffs and at least won a playoff game.
Absolutely.
The year before that, when we did go, I went to that playoff game against the Packers the year before. So I think in recent times, these past 3 years have been probably the best I've seen the Redskins in a while. That's safe to say. So it's still, as I coined to you earlier, I still have that logical fandom. And I'll add a little bit of, let me add like a little with the salt man, a sprinkling of cynical, like cynicism? I'm a little cynical.
Man.
So I'm not very, so when we talk about
I'm not going to fact check you on vocabulary. Listen.
fact check.
Listen. I'm not going to come at you about vocabulary. My vocabulary is trash. But anyway, so to me it's right. Whatever you said is right.
Yeah, cynicism, whatever, cynical. I like to, we're talking about your if you had a personality of what kind of fan you were, you're a logical fan,
Absolutely.
not in feelings. Don't react in feelings. React on what the plays were and the facts. I would say if you ever watch The Muppets.
Yes.
You ever see those two old men that like said, "What do you think of that show?"
Yeah.
That's me. That's the kind of fan I am. So that's a surprise because I am, Mr. Positive Philter, but I'm probably the most pessimistic fan of the Redskins. So with that going into it, I think we should probably lead into our
What we got?
new season predictions. So you thought it was a fun game to do.
Yes. So I thought it would be. I mean, of course, everybody gives their predictions of their team. But let's be real. A lot of people are biased towards their team, and you should be. I mean, you should be. That's like saying, my child is gonna go out and play basketball. And it's like, yo, he ain't getting no buckets today. Like, who does that? It's like,
no, you either gotta be, gotta
have some type of.
I guess you could be, but then you can't. On the flip side, you can't be LeVar Ball, about your son, and say my son's gonna get all the buckets,
Ball control.
Ball control. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You have some optimism.
Yeah, you gotta have some optimism. So sorry for cutting across you, but
no.
So basically, I thought it would be fun that we first give our predictions about each other's team, and then you give so I'm going to give the prediction of the Redskins, and then you give the prediction of the 49ers.
Okay.
And then we give our own predictions just to see kind of how biased we really are.
I think it's a great exercise. But it also might be like what you're saying to me earlier. You might be more more optimistic about my own squad than I am. So that might be a fun
But
exercise.
I got a little. It's a little caveat. I know. I'm gonna shout out his name, but he don't care.
Yeah.
Huge Redskins fan, my boy Dwayne. I ain't gonna put his whole government out there.
Yeah.
But huge Redskins fan, and he's gonna probably be a little bit shocked at what I say. But there's a little caveat to everything. There's a little mischievous.
Are you gonna give that
reason.
caveat now, or are you gonna do it after you do your predictions?
I'm gonna do it after I do the predictions.
All right.
I do the predictions.
I think I mean I'm probably the same way for. I got friends that are fans of everyone on this squad, so maybe I might give shout outs while I do it.
Yeah.
And no shade.
So
man.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay.
It's your exercise. So.
All right, here we go. Washington Redskins 2017 schedule.
All right.
All right, so we're just gonna go through these real quick.
Maybe a little wise.
If you want to take out a pen and paper, folks, please do so and tally it up.
All right.
But of course, I'm gonna give the record at the end. Week 1 against Philly, I have that as a win.
Oh.
Week 2 against the LA Rams, I have that as a win. Please beat all of the NFC West foes because we playing each other. The division rather. Week 3 Oakland, I have that as a loss.
L.
Okay, I do have that as an L. I do have y'all. You got the Sunday. You going back in on Monday. You can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel with the rest for the bye week. I think y'all going to Kansas City and beat them. So I think that's a win there.
All right. We knew it was coming.
All right. So for everybody that's not following a Redskins schedule, it's like church. It's like pull out your Bibles, pull out your schedules. For everybody that's not following the schedule, the reason why we laugh like that is because week 6 is against my beloved 49ers. And I have y'all losing that game straight up.
Right. I mean, it's at our home, so
I have y'all losing that game. Sorry, I just do. Okay.
Fair enough.
But again, caveat here.
Caveat.
At Philly, I have y'all beating Philly again. The first meeting against Dallas, I have y'all winning that one. At Seattle, nobody wins there, so
no one wins there.
No one wins there.
It's too loud.
Not even the Packers on a Hail Mary pass with replacement refs.
Yep.
So nobody wins there. So that's a loss. Minnesota is a win.
Yep.
Week 11 at New Orleans. I think y'all go in there and get a win.
All right.
Week 12 against the Giants. I have y'all beating the Giants there. Thursday night, 2 Thursday night games. And then at Dallas, I think y'all lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, it always seemed like y'all kind of split that season series there.
Not last year though. I think we lost both, right?
I think y'all did.
We did.
But I mean, it's really close. Like, you know what I'm saying? Chargers, that's definitely a win. Arizona, I actually have y'all winning that game, and the only reason is because they have to come to y'all place. So, 1 p.m. on a Sunday, December, late in the season, cross country. I think y'all eke that one out. Denver, I think y'all win that game. And then by that time, y'all will probably have a playoff spot sewed up. Y'all will be 10-4 by then. No, y'all will be 11-4 by then, by my predictions. And at New York, y'all lose that game. And y'all still making it to the playoffs as a wild card team.
With 11-5.
Yep.
Wow, that was way more optimistic. Should I respond with mine right afterwards so it makes sense while the fans are listening?
Sure.
Maybe like your prediction. Okay, so because this might be fresh. So, dang.
So have y'all gone 11-5, Redskins fans?
Can you do your caveat now? To your boy?
Nah.
Why you're so generous?
Well, he knows the caveat, but you don't know the caveat. And other Redskins fans
Okay,
don't
so
know
I mean, all right. Well, that was very, very generous and very nice of you, Mr. Griffin, because I definitely did not have that at all. Going down, Philly first game W, because it's at home. Los Angeles Rams, W because they're trash bags.
Okay.
Oakland Raiders, L. Definitely a loss.
So we're okay. So we're on the same page right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kansas City, that's an L.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just
I was wrong.
San Francisco, that's a W. In Philly, that's an L.
Wow.
Because it's in Philly, and Dallas Cowboys, it's an L. I really hate saying this because shout out to my respective co-host. He's gonna eat this up. He trolled me and actually said that I said we were going to split, but I don't think so. So that's an L.
Okay.
Seattle, as you said, no one wins
there.
No
one wins there. You can
so it's an
chalk
L.
that one up. Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings, W.
Right.
New Orleans Saints, W.
Okay.
I hope AP doesn't go off, but we'll see. The Giants, W.
Okay, 3-game winning streak, like I said.
Game back in Dallas, L.
Okay.
Chargers, W.
All right.
I put a question mark for Arizona because I don't know. They're pretty decent. But right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is my split where I say either we go 7 or 9 or 8 and 8 is based on the Arizona game.
Okay.
Denver Broncos L, Giants L. So
wow.
So
Denver at home?
I don't know, man.
He said,
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I just feel like it's not gonna do well. So from that prediction, man. Okay, now you had me. Okay, you know people like I'm not really hard to convince.
Well,
so
I should have just let you run it off. I don't want to change.
No, so I'm literally in a window. That was another question mark. So my window is a 3-game window. So, best case scenario 9 and 7,
okay.
Middle case scenario 8 and 8, worst case scenario 7 and 9.
Worst case.
And with the 8 and 8 and 9 and 7 possible, 9 and 7 playoffs, 8 and 8 fight for playoffs depending on what other teams do, 7 and 9 no playoffs. All right, so I'm going into this is my main thing is if I have these 3 different scenarios and they play out this season, I'm okay.
So I'm being really generous at 11 and 5.
You was being very generous.
Wow. Well, I mean, all right. So here was a little devious caveat, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, we already got Pierre Garçon from y'all, right? And we got Hightower, right? So he was eventually on the Redskins. So the caveat to my boy Dwayne was I was trolling him a little bit, but if I had to do like my bold prediction dark horse type thing is, and I'm gonna give my picks of my team, but my whole dark horse thing is y'all roll into San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco rolls into y'all house, and y'all lose that game. That'll put y'all at 3-2, and y'all will lose to a team. According to my, y'all will be 3-2.
Yeah.
And then y'all will lose to a team that y'all should beat, right? But we're a totally different team. But just on the paper, y'all should beat.
Yes.
And my whole bold, biased prediction is that's when the birds gonna start chirping. Like Kirk Cousins not really wanting to be there. Kyle Shanahan wanted to be with the 49ers. 49ers going there, beat them. He see Pierre Garçon going off. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And then y'all either make it into the playoffs. Y'all either don't make it into the playoffs, or by my predictions, y'all make it into the playoffs, but y'all lose in the playoffs.
We did. We lost the first game, every time.
And when I tell you my picks, it'll all make sense to where we won't be looking for a quarterback in the draft because I think we're going to be better than what people think. And somehow we finagle Kirk Cousins from y'all, and he comes home to.
They have some. And they also
we finesse Kirk Cousins from y'all. He walks. He says, "I'm out of here," and he gets with Kyle Shanahan because he kind of sees
pieces.
Oh, the 49ers better than what we expect. That's my complete, utter bias, dark horse.
That's a full
prediction.
conspiracy theory. That's like the way you put that together, I see the newspaper clippings with
Yes. Right after the loss, if we beat y'all, I'm telling you, it's gonna be like this turmoil in the
Negro Damas has spoken. If this plays
has
out,
spoken.
yeah, if this plays out.
And somehow we finesse. We finesse Kirk Cousins walks and he goes to the 49ers on free agency.
So, here's my predictions, which are like just as much. I mean, let me rephrase. I'm very pessimistic on. I don't know why I'm in a salty mood today, man. Like let me rephrase.
Why are you in a salty mood?
I'm in a happy mood.
Steak tacos.
I'm in a happy mood. I'm in the best studio that I've ever recorded. But I think but the football. I'm going in with low expectations, you know?
Cool.
So, here we go. 49ers, Carolina, first game, W. I'll give that to you.
Okay.
Seattle, L. No one wins there.
No one wins there.
No, shout out to my cousin.
Hold the door.
Shout out to my cousin Charles Robert, who is the most split. It's funny too, because he's from Asheville, North Carolina, so he's a Panthers fan, but he's a recent transport to Seattle. You know, his family, his wife, shout out to Maria. Nice. He's a Seattle fan, but he actually likes both teams, and this man made a custom Jersey.
Not the half and half.
He did. But he didn't do the half and half official. He has it together with clothespins, you know? So I always troll him because in recent times they've actually had to play each other, right? Yeah, Carolina and Seattle play each other in playoffs and stuff. So he'd be wearing the fake jersey. I'd be trolling him. I'd be like, yo, who you? I said, go see Panthers. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, man, you moved out there, bro.
Panther Hawks.
Yo, half and half it up, bro. Man, I ain't Panther even Hawks. Hating.
So I got Carolina. They get the W. Seattle, they get a loss. Rams, W. I mean, come on now. We all watch Hard Knocks. We know what's going on there. Arizona. Hard, but I give him a dub. I mean a L on that one.
Okay.
Indianapolis W.
Okay.
Washington L. Cowboys L. I'm changing this right now as I go along. Back home, I'm giving you the Arizona W.
Oh, so you're changing that to a W?
Yeah.
Okay.
The second Arizona.
Oh, the second Arizona. Oh, so you skipped some weeks.
No, I said, so I got Carolina W, Seattle L, Rams W, first Arizona game, a loss, Indianapolis W, Washington L, Dallas L, Philly. L.
Okay.
Second Arizona W.
Okay.
At home against the Giants W. I'm changing my mind as I go along. Seattle number L. Chicago W. Houston W. Oh my goodness. W. Tennessee W. Jacksonville W. Rams W. Actually, that's more positive than I thought.
What? So you got us at what?
I'll just change it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 6.
10 and 6.
Let me rephrase, because let's really be realistic. Now that's a high ball. That's a very high thing to say for San Francisco.
Right.
But let's really think about the end, this last final stretch. Now let's say they probably, I mean, they could win out. They could probably lose 1 or 2. So whether it's 10 and 6 or take two, 8 and 8 was the worst I had. I had 8 and 8, and I had 8 and 8, and I had 10 and 6. I don't think they're gonna be below 8 and 8. So before I changed my mind last minute and gave you some more wins in my mind, I had you at 8 and 8. But as I went through, I think that I was like, I can see you like you want to say strength of schedule. The last games, most of the teams is garbage.
Okay, I can see that.
Like Chicago.
Yeah.
Trash bags. Houston.
Dollar Tree trash bags.
Dollar Tree.
Shout out my boy John. Dollar Tree trash bags.
Tennessee, that could be maybe, I don't know. They showed some glimpse last year, right? Tennessee with Mariota.
Yeah, they got a young squad though.
They had what's the running back they had from DeMarco was it DeMarco Murray, right?
They had, yeah. I think they still have him.
I think they still have him. Decent. I think they were decent. So I can give Tennessee could be one of those question mark ones, but Jacksonville trash bags, and the Rams, who that's good for you that they're in the same division as you. You should beat both of them. You should beat them twice.
So by your logic, it kind of seems like it's like we kind of back and forth, but we playing with house money at the end of the season, and then we just try to find a way to roll into the playoffs at 10-6.
I think you can make the playoffs. I think that from your division, it'd be you and Seattle.
Good.
You and Seattle,
look,
1 and 2.
Well, we're both look. We must be friends because we're very generous.
I think we're being very generous and being realistic, saying they're gonna lose to each other. And,
it's funny how that comes out. It's like, nah, I like you, bro, but I don't like you that much.
Nah, and it was hard for me to hard pillow to swallow when I had to like go through in Dallas. My best friend gets into me, and he gets into me about the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm being realistic, man. They're a better squad not only on paper but also last year. So can I be a hater? My main hater part was when they make playoffs and they lose a game and I just send them memes and get real salty. But they are an actual on paper and showing up to football games. The Dallas Cowboys is a better team than the Redskins. But on your paper, I think that solidly you and Seattle are the best teams in that division.
Okay. Hey, well.
I mean, the split with Arizona, Arizona had, I think Arizona even showed that glimpse the year before of being, like this was it, and then they had like this special on HBO or something. They had like a whole thing rallying around how good they're going to be, and, the Honey Badger.
Yeah.
There's going to be, but then last year they didn't show up at all. I think it was injuries though. What?
Yeah.
But,
I think they did have a lot of injuries.
So we both agree.
They underachieved last year.
They underachieved. And we both agree that Seattle runs, no one wins there, and they're probably going to be the number 1 team in that division. So fighting for number 2, which I believe you will be doing, I think you'll fight for number 2, and I believe that you can get that number 2 spot in your division. Now for us, on my side, being the pessimistic person I am, we're fighting for not being number 3. I don't believe we'll be number 4, but we're fighting for that we're fighting for that 2-3 spot. And
okay.
And I think realistically, who knows? I don't know if the Giants will have the collapse. I'm hoping someone else had the collapse and they'd be garbage. But usually it happens. I don't know. I just don't feel super optimistic. But we actually both gave each other a pretty over 500.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like I said, either we know something about each other teams that we personally don't know, or we just value each other's friendship.
Maybe my heart, maybe I wish, maybe I wish I could be a 49ers fan. And you wish it's not that far. It's not that far.
So all right. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and give you my picks. Now here we go. So Carolina, I have us losing that one right out the gate. Week 1, Carolina right out the gate, gone. At Seattle, of course, nobody wins there. We lose that game. Rams, we win. At Arizona, I have us winning that game.
Oh, that one. You have to
win
that.
I have us winning that game in Arizona. Definitely. And I want to say... because that's going to be a short week coming out of the Rams, and then we'll have that extra time. So I think we go into Arizona, we beat them. Week 5 at Indy, I have us losing that game. Washington, I have us winning with my Negrodamus. With my Negrodamusness. Dallas, I have us losing. At Philly, I have us actually winning that game at Philly.
Okay.
Arizona, I have them beating us at home.
So you have a flip-flop. That's interesting.
Yeah. I have them beating us at home. I have us being just this horrible home team. Giants, we lose that game. Okay. Then there's a bye. Seattle game is close, but I have us losing that game too, even coming out of the bye week.
Okay.
Chicago, Dollar Tree trash bags.
Dollar Tree trash bags.
And thanks, Chicago, for letting us finesse all those picks from you.
Finesse.
In the draft. We really do appreciate it.
Then you also finessed their quarterback, right? Hoyer.
Yes.
Finesse.
Give me that. That's like that. Give me that. Give me them picks. Give me that quarterback.
Finesse.
And then Houston, I have us losing that game at Houston. I have us losing against Tennessee.
Okay.
Because I think Tennessee is going to be in the thick of it.
With this AFC South.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're going to be in the thick of it, and they're going to really have to win that game somehow.
Let's rephrase. There's no thick in that joint. It's only they're just trash bags, man. They got the Jaguars, trash bags. It's usually the Colts or Titans. Who's the other one in the NFC South? AFC South?
Colts, Titans,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, and Texans, right?
Yeah, that whole division is trash bags.
Yeah, it probably is going to be the worst division.
Hefty trash bags.
Jacksonville,
Yeah.
Week 16, I have us winning that game.
Of course.
And then I have us beating the LA Rams at their place. That's a W. So that puts us at 7-9. 7-9. I think we go 7-9. And here's the reason why I say we go 7-9. And honestly, I mean, a lot of people have us going 6-10, 5-11. I think we can go 7-9 because here's my Negrodamus thing too, right?
Oh, okay.
We got this. The team is pretty much from scratch, right?
Yes.
Jay York is like, you know what? I messed up with Trent Baalke.
Yep.
I hired a GM, which was kind of questionable, fresh off the broadcast, with John Lynch. But he basically signed both of them to 6-year deals. So to me, that's basically said Jay York was like, you know what? I messed up. I like Lynch. I like Shanahan. They like each other. There's some synergy there. Shanahan had success in Atlanta as a coordinator. Yeah, he's doing the play calling too, which is kind of like, do you want to do that? But by them giving them 6-year deals and letting them strip the whole team down, it's no monkey on their back. So they got 6-year deals. So they're walking into, imagine you go into a job and they like, it's the difference from going into a new job and you know that you might only be there a year. You don't know if you're going to get laid off or not. And the difference going into a new job and it's like, we're going to give you 6 years to work here straight out the gate.
So that gives
you go in there much more relaxed. You feel a lot more confident in your moves and your stuff because you know. I mean, granted, yeah, they can get fired. But I'm saying a 6-year deal out the gate, it was a marriage that Jed York basically said, I want y'all here. Here's 6 years. I'm backing out of it. Y'all do it.
I would say then, so you're saying that they have room to, obviously we call them rebuilding years, whatever. So they have room to take L's this year, build the foundation for this year with the hope of being better next year.
Right. I think my whole Negrodamus thing is we get that defensive edge back. Shanahan helps us out with the offense. We go 7-9. We don't make the playoffs because every year you have teams that always make the playoffs.
Yes.
You have those handful of teams that made the playoffs last year that don't make the playoffs.
Skins.
And then you have a couple of teams who didn't make it. But then you have those, it's like always 1 or 2 or 3 teams where they make a jump. And
surprise people, yeah.
And those teams that make that jump from last year that you thought was going to be 1, 2, 3 win teams that turn out to be 7-win teams like me, like my 49ers, those teams that don't make the playoffs but make that jump and surprise people, those are the teams that mess it up for those teams who made the playoffs last year that don't make the playoffs. Because it's like where those wins are coming with us, they got to be losses somewhere else.
Right.
So I don't think we make the playoffs, but I think we win these 7 games and it messes up something somewhere else. And then Negrodamus basically says, we have this great first year, we don't make it, everybody's excited. Free agents are now excited and they like, yo, this team turn around is 7-9, and it goes into my whole diabolical thing. Like we finesse Kirk Cousins from y'all because if Kurt can be like, yo, Shanahan went there for year one. I know I'm going to have a coach for the next 5 years. I know I'm going to have a GM that paired with him for the next 5 years.
In a system, he's been under his system.
Right. They got cap space, and they went 7-9 with his team, and the team
I've
going to
worked
go up.
with some of the players before.
Finesse. Sorry, Redskins, but we about to finesse Kurt.
Well, I don't think. I mean, we're already saying finesse because we already know from this past experience with the dysfunction with you know, what's the guy, Scott? I can't even pronounce his last name. The GM, our GM, Scott. Why am I blanking on his name? First of all, it was just, you know, not a good look. And Kirk Cousins, the way he was going with his deal, you could tell he kind of doesn't really want to be there. So, yeah, he might be easily finessed.
Right.
Easily. But so you were more pessimistic on your squad this year.
Well,
I was saying 8-8.
Pessimistic in terms of what your predictions was, sure, but I still think we have a much better season. I think we lose a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Because everything is kind of new. We got, you know, I love our rookies, but they're going to have to start playing right out the gate.
Yeah.
I think we lose a lot of close ones, but I think at the end of the season, it's going to be a sense of like, definitely like family, like, all right, we got something here. We got the GM, we got the coach marriage for 5 more years. We went from 4 and something to being horrible to 7-9, knocking on people's doors. We got this. And we got hella cap space after next year. So I just think I'm just excited for it. So I'm like, if we can get to 7-9, I think the psyche for our organization is going to be
You'll
great.
be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with whatever you predicted. I'd be happy with 8-8. I think I'd actually be happy with the 7-9, to be honest with you, too. So I think we're kind of, maybe for the last segment, you know, the positive part, I think maybe just wrapping up the positive filter, I think that I found this exercise very helpful, is that while going through, it was funny to have these like realistic expectations. And for me, it still comes down to the point of, this is a sport they're playing for fun. I mean, they're playing for money, so for them it's a job.
Right.
But for me, this is all fun. You know, I don't take any of this. My fandom is logical fandom / pessimistic fandom. But at the end of the day, I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not gonna make me lose sleep. If they go 3-13. I mean, it doesn't really change my. I'm riding there.
You sure about that?
I'm rocking. I've been there. I've been
sure
there.
about that?
I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there to the lowest. But, you know, for me, the fandom thing is, you know, watching football. I think the nostalgic part, connecting with, having a shared interest with my pops. Those are things that for me is why football is fun. That's why
absolutely.
That's why I think it is the best sport to watch. To me, I don't know. It's just, I feel like, you know, there's the best food, tailgating. I don't know, all those things. So I'm excited for this football season. I don't know. I think that's just my positive attitude about it. That's the positive filter of this episode, is just have fun with it. I would be interested if you listen to this episode and you have, you know, any suggestions. Give out some of your social media. We can have a dialogue, you know, about, give us your predictions and just shoot me and Ryan a message.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Griffin, I'm on Facebook. I guess, man, I don't really be like adding people.
No, don't be
like
adding people.
that.
Do you do tweets?
Nah, I'm I ain't no old head. I don't really be on Twitter like that no more. I get, as you can already see, how I like to go into rants and talk a lot. So I apologize already to people who hate my voice and my laugh on this podcast. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I see it.
You know, still get thumbs up, still rated 5 stars, 5 stars. But nah, it's like I'm the type of person where it's like, yo, I'll go crazy if I couldn't get my point across in 100 and how many characters. So it's like sometimes I just need that whole, if I want to sit there and write and get my point across, you can do that on Facebook. So I just kind of like migrated to Facebook, and everybody who that I talk in circles with about any type of issues, whether it's sports or politics, anything like that, they kind of use Facebook too. But but if I see you a friend of Phil's, then just for the sake of this, then yeah, I'm probably just add you. So it's all good.
And also, I mean, in addition, he has his own YouTube channel, Frozen
Yes,
Thumbz.
PhrozenThumbz. PhrozenThumbz.
Those that they,
I gotta. Right now, I just kind of do like a. It's like I pretty much record games. I'm in a Madden league. I have some Madden games on there. I do Call of Duty a little bit. I need to be a lot more frequent with it. But sometimes things come up. But it's kind of like a podcast per se.
Yes, it is. I listen
And
to
yeah, but sometimes I just kind of do like live commentaries. But sometimes I'll just talk about what's on my mind. Peanut butter petty time when I want to be petty.
Petty time.
Check out that video. That's probably like one of my best videos. And but it's just basically like with some gaming and stuff behind it. So if it's just something you kind of want to watch, listen to. So check that out. But that's pretty much it. And
Those
I'm
are
on
2 plugs.
And I'm on Instagram too. At PhrozenThumbz.
Plug.
Plug.
Plug. So all his thing will be in the show notes. Like I said, please follow along, like the Positive Philter. Give us. I think the main thing about this is, especially with the sports episode, we love to have some interaction. So definitely, if you see this episode, follow up with both of us. Maybe throughout the season, we'll check in and. Maybe we'll do a over the phone one. I can't come out in here to the studio every time, but maybe we'll do over the phone mid-season or postseason.
Or every time that you in town, we gonna do it.
Yeah, we do it.
I'm, as Jalen and Jacoby say, I'm putting it on wax. Every time that you in town, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. I'm already just feeling the energy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna already say that. The listeners that's listening right now, they like this. They want to hear this. Yeah. I'm getting my ditty on. They want to be a part of this. Can't stop, won't stop. Take that.
Take that.
Take that.
I just got finesse.
I feel like right now they like, I need that. I want that. I gotta have that. You hear the ditty in my voice? I'm ditty bopping right now. That's how it is. Positive Philter, I'm ditty bopping right now. Y'all like this, y'all need this. It's a rock.
Pineapple.
So, anyway, we gonna put it on wax, man. Look,
we'll do another follow-up for sure at the end of the season.
This is, look, you practically family, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the studio is open. I'm up in here playing Madden, chilling. And that's the positive spin on it, man. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, this is just like my studio. Like, you can't come in here. Man, look, if you ever in town, you can be passing Colonial Heights, Richmond, and be like, man, I just want to go ahead and open up the podcast and just talk about some stuff. You got an hour? Hour or two?
Let's do it.
Like, so anytime you in town, man, let's just do stuff. Let's just do the podcast. Like, I'm all for it.
For sure.
So,
dang. Well, you got that on wax, though.
People.
Contract, finesse. I got finesse.
I ain't trying to, like, take over your show, but I'm just saying, the resources are here for you. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that,
like,
man. I appreciate that so much.
I know I'm going over a little bit, but I know we want to put a positive spin on stuff. So, like, that's my positive spin, man. It's just, like, especially with, like, everything going on.
Yes.
With, like, Colin Kaepernick and the world and Trump and all that stuff, man. People just need to, like, worry about self. And, like, I know some people go to church. I know some people are real religious. I go to church, but I'm not super religious. I'm not a super religious person. Because I know some people usually say, like, oh, go to church. You should go to church for you, or you should be religious for you, not for anybody else. But it's like, I tell people all the time, it's like, yo, I know people who go to church all the time. They the worst person you ever meet, that you ever met. And then I know some people who don't go to church at all, and they're some of the greatest people that I'm friends with and I know. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to church. You should go to church, but it's just, I'm basically trying to hone in on, if people just worry about themselves and worry about self, like yourself, and just being a genuine human being, regardless of labels, race, and all this stuff. Just, if you work on yourself, you'll be good, and you #be consistent. You know what I'm saying?
Be consistent with that attitude.
Be consistent with that attitude. So
you're dropping knowledge on the end of the episode. Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
I agree with that
I say all that to say, man, like,
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I'm just all about positive energy. So it's like, yo, if you want to come through anytime to use the studio, just come through the studio. Don't be afraid to ask, man. Like, I know I have a problem with that. I'm an only child. I don't want to ask people for stuff. And, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I feel like a certain way. But it's like, I'm just letting you know right now, man. It could be 2 a.m. You're like, I got a podcast idea. It's Friday night. You got to go to work Saturday. Nah, I'm coming down there and we do a podcast. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out too,
I appreciate that, man.
And hopefully that message spreads along to people, man. It's like, yo, just help people out, man. Especially if you got resources, man. Just if you got like these free open resources, whether it's a studio or knowledge or whatever, like,
I appreciate that, man.
Just, you know.
I hope that that invitation is still open when we give you that W. I mean that
yeah,
L.
it's good. We're gonna have to have a recap. I think we'll have to have a mid-season review.
We need to have. I'm saying we're going to do it. We're going to do a mid-season review.
Absolutely. You know. So anybody that got tickets, man, you know, I don't know what I got to do. I know I'm going to see Bruno around like October. I don't know if that's going to be the same weekend.
So if you listen to this episode and you have extra tickets,
yo,
shoot Ryan a message. So that's why I said do your plugs. Shoot Ryan a message because he's trying to come up to DC and go to that game.
I'm not, you know, everybody got to have a budget and stuff like that. But for real, like, if you try to move tickets, you know.
He'll finesse them.
That's it, yo.
So we're
and not for
wrapping
profit neither. I'm sorry. Not for profit. This is that positive. I know I'm going over. I gotta get it out, man. Not for profit.
Speak the truth. Speak it.
I'm a prophet, but not for profit with these tickets. Come on, man. Like, yo, I ain't trying to say I'm trying to be El Cheapo over here. But you know me, man. When I be trying to, when I try to sell tickets and stuff, I be like, yo, I ain't trying to make no money. I'm just trying to make the money back that I spent.
You just say, yo, I'm not a prophet, but I'm a prophet.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yo, I'm not a prophet.
I'm a prophet, but don't do it. I'm a for profit. You hear me? Take that. But
I'm hurt. Okay.
But yeah, man, like, even when I try to sell like music tickets, y'all know, the people who know me is like, man, I don't be trying to make no money. So look, some come up, you gotta take care of the kid, the wife, the husband, dog, cats, rats, Manny Fresh in the building. If you gotta do that, man, I'll see if I can get them tickets off if you ain't too much. I'm just plugging. I'm trying to go to the game.
So he's trying to go to the game. So I think it was a great episode. We are definitely doing a follow-up, stamped and delivered. Follow the Positive Philter on Facebook. Follow on Instagram. Shoot me a message. I love to interact with the listeners. I like to know what topics you're interested in. As you know, friends, family, all those different things are welcome to be guests. I love having this movement of positivity, and the main thing is I love to bring the people that I care about, people that I do call family, such as Ryan, into that. So if you want to be a guest, holla at me. We'll figure it out. We'll make some work. We'll make a topic work. Thank you so much for having me and Mal Griff in studios here in Colonial Heights. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and good night. You've been listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help along the way. This episode of Positive Philter was edited by Ronald Young Jr. Special shout out to Ryan Griffin for recording this episode with me at Mal Griff ENT Studios. As always, I'd like to thank Ryan Rusman for the music, Maggie for being an amazing and supportive wife, and all the listeners. If you have any questions for Positive Philter, please message me and use the hashtag #AskPositivePhilter on Twitter. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends. Spreading positivity is a movement. Thanks for listening.